everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're gonna do a little bit of a different intro. Do you want to see the most broken Hearthstone launch of all time? Want to see it? We're gonna get into this video. I don't normally record a game live, but I think you guys might want to see what is going on in well, take it away, Anduin. Yeah, this twist mode, a little bit broken. Let's get into it.
Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. I don't even know what to say anymore. This is by far the craziest, most broken launch of any Hearthstone content I have seen. And that includes Day 1 Demon Hunter. I was there for that. It was spectacularly broken. This makes it look like child's play, as Arthas is the most broken deck ever in Hearthstone history in any mode. There's just no other way around it. We're gonna go into that, how that is outright broken and basically making the mode really bad. There's controversy around him because we know he's gonna get nerfed. He's too good, but there will be no dust refund for him, but it's not really explicitly stated really anywhere other than like Twitter devs. I'm saying this up front, so in case you just watch the intro, you know, if you're crafting this card, you're not getting your dust back, as well as literally hackers have infiltrated this mode, making it pretty unplayable. I am now at Diamond 5. I'm just facing hackers. I can't even climb. Clark Hellscream had the same issues. A lot of people are having the same issues. It's really bad, as well as a shop update with bundles that are super overpriced. Not great, but I swear it's not all negative because the mode itself is really cool. If I could just play something other than Arthas and win, it's pretty crazy. Or not face hackers. We're gonna go into everything on the channel. If you enjoy the content and you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as we're on the road to 83,000 subscribers. So yeah, Twist is live. All servers, Whizbang's Heroes, 19 heroes available. There's 6 to play for free, some of which are pretty good, like Leroy, Alakir, Kael'thas are not too bad. There's some real stinkers of decks. We'll maybe talk about that near the end, but all the talk is about Arthas. Arthas literally, this one deck literally destroys everything. Everything. It is unbelievably favored against everything. If you're not aware of what the deck is, it's like a rainbow deck on super steroids where you have the hero power of spend up to 3 corpses for each, reduce the cost of a card in your hand by 1. So like ridiculous mana cheat. And then you look at the deck itself, it's got Climactic Necrotic Explosion, which gets buffed every single time you do that, plus your mana cheating on all these incredible cards. They're all modern, all new cards. There's no bad card in this deck, unlike a lot of the older decks that have terrible old cards. And on top of that, you have this broken passive, where after you play a Frost Rune card, then an Unholy, then a Blood, and it's not random, it's always in order, you excavate and you get a random reward, except not the Paladin and Shaman ones. Those are bugged because playtesting is not really a thing. We'll talk about that in a bit. So that makes it even better because you don't like randomly evolve your minions. You get like, you know, the Life Suck Warlock one a lot. You get the random Titan. It's broken. It beats everything. It destroys everything. And the stats show that already. On hsguru.com, the stats are in pretty early, but there's a lot of numbers. It is just baffling to me how this has happened. So again, these are the stats for this deck. Against Death Knight, which is mostly the Mirror or the Lich King, it is slightly favored, 54%, right? Slightly favored. Once you get past that, it's absurd. Any Demon Hunter deck, it has an 80% win rate. Any Druid, it has a 90% win rate. Like, how is it even possible? It's unbelievable. Hunter 76.8, Mage like 82%, Paladin 77%, Priest 69.9, very nice. Rogue around 80%, Shaman 75%, Warlock 85%, Warrior 87 for an overall win rate of over 71%. It would be way higher than that if you didn't notice the total games, 8,000 of 23,000, over a third of the games are the mirror against the other deck. And if you look at like Diamond through Legend, where not a lot of people have got to, nobody plays anything else because there's no point. It's that broken. We're 1,376 of 2,000 games you have faced off against the mirror, and you'll note that the win rate's still over 60% despite facing basically only itself. It's the most broken thing ever. And I have to ask the question, how in the hell does this happen? Like, how does this happen? There's only 19 self-contained pre-built decks. This had to have been caught in balance testing. You play like 1 or 2 games of this deck, you just realize how broken it is, how it destroys everything. And they launched it like this, like completely broken. It's basically 2 things to me. It was either it was done intentionally and they just don't care, right? They want to sell bundles or make people craft the card and then they don't get dust refunds for it and haha, we got them, right? I don't want to believe that. I really don't. The other is just there is like no playtesting. They have basically no playtesting. They just threw it out, see what happens, and it turns out that it is incredibly broken. If we look at Twist as a whole, across all ranks, there's a lot of other good decks, like Alakir and like the Lich King, Zul'jin. They have like 60%, 50% win rates, despite, you know, all of this going on with Arthas. There's a lot of really cool, powerful stuff to do. It's just impossible. None of them can even come close to beating this deck. I will say I streamed Twist for 6 hours, and when I started with Arthas, I didn't lose a game. We tried all the other heroes, just loss after loss, mostly Arthas's and losing to other decks. And then when I switched back to Arthas, it was just back to winning or losing the mirror. In over 6+ hours of playing Arthas, I didn't lose to a non-Arthas deck once. Not once. And I think there might have one person remotely close. And when I played other classes, it took me over 3.5 hours to barely beat one Arthas who drew the worst hand imaginable. I barely beat them, I think with King Crush. It is just the most unbelievable thing. Even day 1 Demon Hunter, I have like a 35-40% win rate against it, playing like counters like Warlock and all that, because there you can build a deck to try and beat it. This is impossible because you have pre-built decks. So again, balance testing is either the worst, which we kind of know it is considering how many balance patches we get now, but it's very apparent that very little effort was put into it, or again, if it was done out of malice, that's really awful, and I hope that's not the case. And obviously the devs are aware of this. Celestalon did tweet out after seeing like everything going on, we'll have balance adjustments for Twist soon and every week, where they say they can only adjust the starting health. You gotta take like 20 or 20, you gotta make them die when you play them. Like, it's not gonna fix anything. It's so broken. I rarely ever got low health, and that only helps against like the aggro things. They got a real challenge in their hands to try and make this remotely playable. But the other thing, Hat mentioning, we're aware of very recent Twist developments and are currently working on it. I won't go into details here, but yes, we know, and we have people on it for a fix ASAP, like Sunday evening. They got to work on that. That's awful. The hacker people are just the worst, but it is going on. They're working on it. Hopefully by the time this video is out, it can be resolved. And he did say this isn't about Arthas. He's just a good boy who wins too much. So it's crazy to see what's going on, the whole hacker thing. It's all over the Hearthstone subreddit. I saw like this guy got rank 1 legend and literally posted himself hacking on this like unlisted video, which is just ridiculous. And yeah, like there's different versions of it. This guy makes his minions cost 0 and just renos with the passive. Like, I don't know how they do it. It's ridiculous, but it is what it is, right? Like, it's happening. Cheater in Twist mode. If I look at the Hearthstone subreddit, it's all over that. And I wanted to be able to talk about like cool stuff about the mode, but it's just brutal. It's just brutal what's going on. And you know, it's like, is there dev testing? Like, what is going on? How does this happen? And that's not even to talk about like really annoying interactions, like Arthas getting the Scorpion and disabling Zarella to be able to get to 60 health and win the game. They steal the health, they can't do their thing. Like, it just feels like not a lot of attention was put into playtesting, and it's a shame because if you look at the mode itself, like, it's really well put together. The UI is great, the interface is great when you play the game. Like, your passives and your hero powers, they all feel great. But at the end of the day, when the mode's unplayable, not just because of hackers, it's just unacceptable. and it's a product that people are paying for. And well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about paying for this stuff. So if you're not like me and you don't have these cards, they put out some twist bundles that are just not great. There's 3 bundles that have 3 legendaries. They're $20 for crappy, useless legendaries for a mode that only lasts for 2 months, right? Like they say it's going dark after 2 months and they're not bringing it back until next year at the earliest. And well, right now, you look at this is where I get uneasy. There's an Arfis bundle. It's $20. And you see this like, oh, I can get that and I can do the broken thing. Nowhere in the patch notes, nowhere other than like on Twitter or dev comments on like Twitch, does it say that there will be no dust refunds for any of these decks that get nerfed. Their argument is, well, they're not nerfing a card, they're nerfing the deck and it's temporary. And I can understand why they're not giving dust refunds considering there's like so many healths and things they want to change, but they should have been way more transparent about it. And after the whole weekly quest shenanigans going on, and they said they're going to really work on being more communicative and more straight up and communicate better, it's a bad look and it's hard to take them at face value for these things. So be aware, again, because it's not really clearly stated anywhere. When they nerf any of these decks, you will not get a dust refund on any of them. You will not. So $20 you could buy and get Arfis and he gets nerfed in like 2 days and it's useless. Or, you know, when it rotates in 2 months, the card is pretty useless because all these legendaries suck. And if you want to actually get all the cards in all these bundles, for some reason, they did like the diamond patches, which you can get through getting all the legendaries from Mean Streets, but they coupled in packs that don't even work towards Twist, right? They're wild packs, sure, but they don't work in Whizbang's Heroes. They're actually useless, and it's like $40 for the one card, $40 for a Cthulhu signature, and again, some packs, that wild packs are bad. Add all this together, right? At least in my money, Canadian money, it's $250 for these 5 cards, and then another $75 for these 9 legendaries. It's worth like $300 to get 19 legendaries, some of which are premium, some of which you might own some of these. Like say I want Arfis, but I already own Zarella. Like it's weird. So you gotta craft the card. It's not a very well optimized way of buying things. I don't know why they can't just offer a pass, like a Whizbang's Heroes pass, and you can just play it. You pay that fee straight up, 20, 30, but I guess they make way more money. They get people to buy this, and I cannot really recommend purchasing any of these bundles. I can't. They're bad value. It won't be around that long, and you can't really use it in like Wild. Maybe in future Twist seasons, they're playable, they'll be okay, but we don't know how often it's up, and if you want to play that, it's just not a great look. So yeah, day one of Whizbang's Heroes has been on par for the Twist experience since it launched last year. A disaster, horribly run, pretty inept in the way everything has been executed, with it, whether it be balance, economy. They're doing better at promoting it. They had an actual pop-up to say the mode was live. They tweeted about it. They've been more active in that regard, so I appreciate that. They offered some monetization to get involved, but it is the most accessible season by far, but it's still pretty darn rough. But more importantly, like the thing that really matters outside of the hacking crap is Arfis just being literally the most broken deck ever, where you had a controlled environment. You made the decks. You could play them against the other devs, and even with that, you still made a deck more broken with then, you know, putting an expansion out with 100+ cards and infinite possibilities that you could never possibly think of. This was self-contained, self-inflicted, and it still happened, and it puts a real question mark going forward of any balancing they do in Hearthstone. It's just outrageous how broken this card is. I have just no words. So yeah, if you own Arfis, get in there, get some free wins. It counts to your Death Knight stuff and achievements, and hopefully they can somehow make this reasonable, because I actually do think this mode has potential until it leaves in 2 months, and then I'm sad it's gone after they finally fix it, right? They'll finally get a balance and it'll disappear in 2 months. Anyways, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Real bummer, real bummer. I don't know. It's so frustrating, and again, it's just I don't know what's going on with the team sometimes. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.